Hi guys, Whitney here from the Holiday Homestead. Today I am putting some layering in for my greenhouse beds, and I figured you guys might want to see it. So it is really hot in here. I will say it is sweaty, and it's probably about maybe 65 degrees outside, but I'm not outside. I am inside my greenhouse, and it is probably 85 or 90 in here. So sorry for the sweaty look. But so let me show you what I've got to put on the beds. So first, I've got just my regular soil here. This is last year's soil. It's a mixture of, let's see, rabbit manures in there, probably a little bit of goat, some pine shavings, which means some chicken manure, and then just regular old dirt. And this soil is really good already. I did have to dig up my beds earlier this month, so that means everything kind of turned over and turned around, which I usually don't like because I do a no-till method. So I kind of want to, even though the soil is still pretty good and has tons of good, carbon material and stuff in it, I want to kind of restore my layers again. There's some eggshell from my compost. I want to restore my layers here. So what I've got for my layers is first I'll be using cardboard. My wet cardboard, that's my weed barrier, but it's also kind of my brown matter restorer. And I've been soaking it, let's see, I soaked it yesterday, so this is overnight. And it is ready to apply because look at it, it's fallen apart. It's nice and soft. All the layers of the cardboard have just kind of fallen away. And it's nice and soft and perfect for applying to the bed. So that's gonna go on first. And then I've got my bags. I've got some pretty young and pretty old, kind of a mix, horse manure, and it's from a friend of mine. I like getting horse manure from a person you know, because you know what's in it. She doesn't use a lot of antibiotics with her animals. She doesn't use a lot of chemical dewormers and stuff. So I have a basic good idea of what's in this. And also it was just aged in her pasture, so that's good. And then here I've got 1, 2, 3 bins of rabbit manure and alfalfa. This is kind of my secret weapon for moisture retention, but also just for improving the layers of my soil. This is just rabbit manure from under my rabbit hutches, my meat rabbit hutches, and then just whatever bits of straw, alfalfa, twigs, whatever falls through under their hutch. And so this stuff is, some of it is more aged, like this is older. Some of it's newer. This is probably maybe less than a month old. But the thing about rabbit manure is that it is a cold manure, which means that you can apply it directly to your beds and it won't burn your plants. The composition of rabbit pellets is a lot less, nutrient rich, but there's tons of nutrients in it. So it's bioavailable, but in a slower form. So like cow manure is very bioavailable right away. It's tons of nitrogen and just, enriches the soil great. And it's wonderful, but it can burn your plants and also it can carry pathogens. So that's considered a hot manure. A cold manure, like rabbit, goat, and actually horse, I guess it's kind of like a medium manure because it's a little bit of both. But anyway, rabbit manure in particular has a ton of nitrogen, potassium, magnesium, phosphates, all the good stuff that plants need, but it's kind of less broken down so that when the roots go to reach this little pellet of manure, they don't suddenly get a surge of nutrients. They get a very slow, consistent feed of nutrients, especially when there's water on this to kind of break it down a little more. So I use a lot of rabbit manure. Also, we just have it, a ton of it, so because we have a lot of neat rabbits. So I have 3 buckets of that, and then I've just got some some old throwaway straw that a friend of mine just dropped by yesterday. He had some bales that he used for his archery school target practice, and they got all moldy from the rain. He forgot to cover them up, and so he called me up and said, "Hey, you want 5 bales of rotten straw?" And I said, "Sure do." Because free stuff is always the best. So this will be like a nice little top dress. This will just be like a little top mulch kind of thing that I put in. You know, it's always good to have extra stuff, especially when it's free. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started layering this in, and yeah, just have a look. All right, hang on here. All right, now I'm gonna grab some horse manure. Just kind of a thin coat. Don't need a whole bunch. I don't really worry too much about spreading it out because the plants will definitely get a hold of it. And then this is the rabbit manure. I do a pretty thick layer of this on top. for that. I only needed 2. And then the straw just kind of sprinkled in on top here. And then I'm just going to water this in. And I'm going to leave it. I'd water some more, but I'm going to leave this for about 2 weeks. And I'll just let it sit and cook down, watering it about every other day, depending on how hot it is outside. And that's it. That's the bed. All right, well, I'm going to get back to watering. Thanks for watching.